What up? Welcome. Politiocracy. I'm your favorite idiot. I'm the worst person to be doing this. I don't know why I wanted to do this. I just kind of want to rant every week. I kind of think it's needed for me. It keeps all of my political nonsense off of all the other shows, but I've had an exhausting week, so I don't have a lot to talk about, but I spent the last 3-4 hours driving through a blizzard. It's still fall. I don't understand how this works. It makes me hate the world. I get a very bah humbug this time of year. It's been snowing like crazy for the past, I don't know, 5-6 hours, and I've been driving through a blizzard. I had to drive back and forth for my job up probably one of the most dangerous highways in Canada, where there's a lot of people that got their CDLs by CD means, is how I would describe it. They drive in flip-flops, and when I drive through there, I just see a lot of transport trucks turned backwards on the highway. And I'm driving a little tiny gay car that only a homosexual man like myself would drive, and I'm just zipping through the snow. I'm ripping and tearing. But basically, I'm terrified every single day. It's slipping and sliding, and it's probably horribly unsafe. It seems like it's one of the worst places in the world to drive. And what I chose to do, because what I did for most of my life, if anybody is listening to this that still has the opportunity to go to a trade or work harder in school or just be a better person all around, go ahead and do it, because I fucked around for so long. And now what I have to do is just risk my life with a lot of people that don't seem to know how to drive every single day just to make enough money to eat some McDonald's every week. And yeah, I'm not too happy about it, but it got me thinking. I read this article about Michigan. So Michigan, which is a little bit higher north, a little bit north of me, even though it's in America, which is technically south. When you look at the map, it's higher up. It should be colder, snowier, which a lot of the time it is. It has a lot of lakes, so it gets a lot of snow year round. So what they decided to do in Michigan is they put it this heated. If you've ever seen a heated driveway, what they do for a heated driveway is they run these heated pipes up and down the driveway, and they sit about like 20 some odd degrees Celsius, and so they heat up your driveway so snow can't stick to it. Yes, Canada is ass. I agree. Thank you, Tard. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. They basically, it keeps the snow off the driveway. It can't ice up because it's always at a temperature above freezing. So that got me thinking. There was this article about Canada giving up on foreign aid for a while. Like, we have had such a problem with our economy lately that we can't be giving money out. And for the last, I don't know, 10 years, I was looking up how much money we've given in foreign aid. And the amount of foreign aid that we've given for blowing up people, brown people in the Middle East, funding sex changes in Uganda, just crazy stuff. Obviously, some important stuff too. I don't want, like, I couldn't tell you what they are, but you know, helping out other countries that need it, not including our own. We've been given somewhere around. I have the exact number here. I was looking at the exact numbers throughout the last 10 years. We've been given somewhere around $70 billion in foreign aid, which is an absurd amount of money. That would take a huge chunk out of our debt. We're sitting at about $1 trillion in debt now. That would do so much. But what people like to do, somebody like Billie Eilish, who was in the news recently, who said Elon Musk could solve a lot of the world's problems with his billions of dollars, and people like to pocket watch. So I thought I would do that a little bit. Now, with the foreign aid that we've given to the rest of the world, that I don't really know where it goes, it's not really accounted for. It seems to be just disappearing. So the exact total, I have it right here, $76.6 billion is what they've given from the time of 2014 to 2024. That's the data that I have in front of me. And basically, it just disappears. It is squandered away by the government. It's thrown at services that just collapse on themselves. I'm sure it helps. I'm sure it does a lot of things. But like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the services that are run by the government are bloated and wasteful. And when they do things like food services for children in schools, it's taking money from people and then just funneling it back in an inefficient way when you could just not take it from people. The people can't afford to pay their for school lunches for their kids that they've had and that they're sending to school. So what does that mean that they're doing at home? When they go home for dinner at the end of the day, do they have money for that? Of course not, because you've taken the money from them and then you're giving it back to them in a bran muffin at breakfast time at school. So I think when I ran through, this is all going to make sense. It's all going to come together. When I was looking at the cost margin for Michigan's heated streets and how far they go and exactly what they do, it's quite expensive. It's very, very expensive, but it's nowhere close to what we spend in foreign aid. So just in military aid alone, which I disagree heavily as a one of the only libertarians in Canada, and non-interventionist as I am, I don't think we should be funding any wars. We've sent somewhere around $1 billion to Israel to blow up Palestine, and then we're going to send probably another $1 billion to rebuild it. So obviously, we should stop this. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, has started to do that, and he's been getting shit from the European Union, which that's retarded. We're ass backwards, and I think we should be working on things ourselves. So what I decided to do is I looked up the price of how much it cost Michigan to put these heated snow systems in. I have a little video right here of the snow systems being put in.
That winds up and down 8 miles of streets, parking lots, and sidewalks. 7,000 gallons of water per minute circulate through the system at 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The system is designed to melt about 1 inch of snow per hour when outdoor temperatures are at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Snowmelt has been an essential component of the ongoing revitalization of downtown Holland. Those on foot, whether walking or working out, all flock to downtown during the winter months to take advantage of safe, snow-free pedestrian conditions.
Okay, so here's where my autism starts brewing here, where I look at this and I go, how much do we spend on snow removal a year? And it is an absurd amount of money between sidewalks, streets, highways. Highways are insane. They have a guy who's making 40 some odd dollars an hour run. They have to have 3 of them because there's a 3-lane highway, and they have to run up and down the highway over and over again. Then they have a guy follow back with salt. That salt deteriorates your car. That car then is less safe on the road and possibly could get in an accident. The winter tire business is an insane business where people are spending so much money to swap over their tires, and they have to have several sets of tires just to get through the year. All of this starts to compound into billions. It's billions of dollars that just to have the infrastructure run the way that you need it, and it's not great. I was just driving through it. It's not clear. The snow is still coming down. A snowplow goes by. 20 minutes later, it's like he was never there. It's very inefficient, and we should start cutting things off at the pass. Canada is ass. The chat has said it best. I can't believe that they've nailed it on the head. It's one of the worst places to live. It's inefficient. We need to be better. That's exactly what we need to be much better. But we're not, and we're not changing this. So these billions of dollars every single year across Canada to clean up sidewalks, to clean up roads, to do all of this stuff just to make the city functional would cover the costs of making this. So I looked at this. So if we stopped, I already went through the $76 billion that we've sent in foreign aid. If we just took the $20 billion that we've sent for military aid in wars that we're not fighting, that we're not involved in, I think that would cover most of the cost here. Sorry, Gizmo wants to join in. Hi, buddy. Yeah, I know. You don't like the snow either. Here. I know. This guy hates the snow. Now, if we could do this here at our place too. I know. It's disappointing. I'm sorry that I don't have enough money. I don't have the billions of dollars to clear up our streets as well here. So you unfortunately have to go and poop in the snow. I apologize. I wish I was better. But if we weren't spending so much money on wars in the Middle East, you would have a nicer place to poop. I apologize for that. I wish I was better. But what I was saying is, so the $20 billion that we've sent just on military aid would cover the 7,821 kilometers of the Trans-Canada Highway. The Trans-Canada Highway is one of the largest highways in the world, if not the largest highway in the world. It has millions of people going up and down it every single day, and there are thousands of accidents every single day along this highway. Some of them resulting in death. And some of these people never make it back because they're driving down the highway. It goes through the Rockies. It goes all the way from the west, all the way to the east. It is the one road in Canada, when you watch South Park, when they say there's one road that goes all the way through, it's a real thing. There's one road that goes all the way through. It's 7,800 kilometers long. And the cost to do that could be, to heat the entire highway, could be as low as $14 billion. That means if we just didn't do the foreign aid for wars that we're not involved in and that we don't need to be funding, we could save Canadian lives, we could save Canadian money, and then the money would be saved because there wouldn't need to be hundreds of snowplows running up and down the street every single day. The money would start to recoup itself, because although there's a cost of having this running all the time, absolutely, it is nowhere near the price of having salt and snowplows running 24/7 through the entire winter. It would change life as we know it in Canada. The safety, we wouldn't have twisted up tractor trailers as the scenery going up and down the highway, because that's what I do every day. I drive up and down the road, and a guy in flip-flops is standing on the side of the road with his tractor trailer in a ditch, twisted up, facing backwards. And a poor family of 4 has died. Now, I was driving home, and I thought I was going to die several times, and I really do want this to be fixed. I wish that we could solve the problems and actually use money for what it is used. Yes, be better. Stop saying that. We can't be better. I'm trying to say that we should be better, and the systems that we already have in place that we could be using, we've decided to not use, because that is an easy system that we could put in place that would be that would fix so much. The cost of maintenance on your car would go down. The drive to and from work for a lot of people would be way simpler if we just did something like that. Now, I don't know how feasible this would be, because construction in Canada kind of takes 13 years to fill a pothole. So if we could get this done, it would be unbelievable. But believe me, when I run for office, I'm telling you, we're not funding any wars, and we're taking that money and we're heating the streets and filling the potholes. Believe me, vote for me for toasty warm roads and potholes and a death penalty for pedophiles. It's the way of the future, man, and get me into office. And if you can't get me into office, the only person that we need in office is Miss Danielle Smith, the only person that should be running things in Canada. Now, this is going to be a much shorter episode. I'm exhausted because I've had to drive through a blizzard and a not heated street. So I think we need to be moving in the direction of the great, I'm going to call it a state of Alberta, because last week I was talking about how my house was broken into when I was a kid, and they stole my Wii. I'm still bitter about that. I couldn't play Wii bowling anymore, and it was all because of these thugs that broke into my house. And my mom was a single mom, and she lived alone, and I know that terrified her. Once our house was broken into, there was nothing she could do. Somebody kicked down the door, they came into our house, they stole all of our stuff, and if we were home at the time, what would we have done? What we had no recourse to fight off these people. If you even harm them, you will be charged. If you had a gun and killed them, you go to jail. If you could even get a gun in Canada, because it's next to impossible. Now, the great state of Alberta, the 51st state, Danielle Smith came with a big announcement in the last couple of days, right after I went through and said there's no recourse in Canada for people when somebody breaks into your house. What can you do? I know states like, there's places in the States like New York and California where it's the exact same. If somebody breaks into your house, you're supposed to bend over, let them take all your stuff, rape your women and children, and send them on their way with a cup of coffee. Now, Danielle Smith came in and said this. Oh, sorry, muted.
Today, that next week, our UCP government will be introducing a new motion under the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act that will, if passed in the legislature, instruct all provincial entities, including our municipalities and law enforcement agencies, to refuse to enforce or prosecute under the federal gun seizure program.
What that means is there is a gun buyback program in Canada. They're trying to take back the guns the same way that they did in Australia, where any guns that you've had, they claim that it's going to be voluntary, that you can decide to give back your guns, but then if you don't do it by a certain date, it will become illegal. So it's not really voluntary. You have to do it. Then it got pushed back. It got pushed back again. Then it's supposedly canceled, so you don't have to do this. But what Alberta is doing, and they're passing a law, if this is passed, then they've given themselves sovereignty to say absolutely not. The federal government can say that they're coming to take our guns, and we say no. We are keeping them. This is our right to do as a province. We don't believe that completely disarming our citizens is a good thing to do, because that means only the bad people will have them. If you've ever been to Detroit, which is a stone's throw away from Canada, they can come to the border and chuck a few guns over the border, and guess who's going to get them? Not law-abiding citizens who just want to protect their homes. It's going to be people who want to do harm. And that's happening more and more recently, where people are just getting into shootouts in the street, and people are shooting up homes. Blind fire drive-bys are a thing that are on the rise, where stray bullets are hitting people, and those aren't from people who are registering their guns and having them in a registry where the government can come and take them. So I disagree heavily with what the government is doing, and clearly so does Danielle Smith.
Now, the Sovereignty Act motion will also make it clear that these agencies will not enforce or prosecute Albertans defending their homes and families from intruders. I got a little tip for low-life criminals out there. If you don't want to get shot, don't break into someone's house. It's really that simple, isn't it?
It's really that simple is a beautiful way to put that. When you think about it, when you break into somebody's house, they feel threatened. They don't know what you're there for. They feel like you are you not only make them not feel safe. This is exactly what I experienced with my mother, is that it doesn't just happen in that moment where you feel unsafe and you need to protect yourself and you're worried about your family and you don't know what to do. It becomes a much larger issue. Now, every night you feel unsafe. Now, every day that you're spending in your home alone with nobody there to protect you and there's nothing you can do when somebody kicks in your door and is coming to harm you, it's terrifying. It's a frightening feeling. And when I'm a 14-year-old kid with my mom not understanding why, she's extremely sad in the middle of the night because there's nothing she can do when we live next to a fentanyl dealer and we don't have any money to move anywhere, and this is just our life now. What is my mom supposed to do? What is my 50-year-old mom supposed to do when some 3 men come and kick in their door? There's nothing. The only thing you can do is use the greatest equalizer in the world, a firearm, to deter them from ever wanting to come in. Because if you know that you're going to get harmed if you break into somebody's house, that's how you stop people. One of the greatest quotes that I will butcher right now that I use regularly is the reason that Japan never invaded during World War II. They never invaded America. The Emperor of Japan at the time eloquently said that not only would we be fighting the military, there is a gun under every blade of grass, meaning that they not only fight the military, they would fight every redneck with a shotgun, every single guy who just has a gun for home security, because they're not going to give up their land. This is their home. This is their castle. This is where they live, and they need to be aware of that. So when you realize that there's never a shooting at a gun show, it's because everybody has a gun there. Who are you going to shoot? You're going to try to shoot up the people at the gun show? You're probably going to get shot. So the reason that shootings always happen where there's no guns is because the person doing the shooting knows that they have open fire. Everybody's a sitting duck there. There's no way to stop them because they don't have any way to defend themselves. The people there have no way to defend themselves. Now, this is a great deterrent for people that think that they can just walk into somebody's house and they can just take everything because they have a gun and they don't need to follow the law. Because if I'm breaking into people's house, I don't care if my gun is registered or has serial numbers or was just gotten with illegal means, smuggled over the border. That's the way that the world works now. So this is a beautiful thing that's supposed to happen soon. I will be looking into this. Hopefully that happens and people can feel safer in their own home, because I would love this. If somebody comes and kicks in my door and wants to harm my family, I would shoot them. You would, yes, exactly. Tard 3, you shoot to kill. That's what you would do. It's not fair. I just watched this news story where a retired Army veteran, this is in America, I believe it's in Georgia, and the guy had 3 men break into his home, and they came in with a gun, and they came to rob him. They didn't want to shoot him. They wanted to rob him. And little did they know that this guy was packing heat, and he decided to shoot back at them. Shot them an absurd amount of times. It was something like 20 some odd times. They ended up dying. They also ended up being teenagers, I believe 16, 17 years old. And they ended up dying. And when the investigation went through, they were, or he was given the go-ahead. He was let go. I don't know how to phrase this properly. He was within his rights. There you go. You found it. He was within his rights to have done this. It was a stand your ground state where Georgia says that if somebody breaks into your house, you can shoot to kill them. And he shot them an absurd amount of times because they shot back, and he was in fear for his life. He was an old man. Somebody broke into his house to rob him. The parents of the kids came out and said, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is a quote from one of the mothers of the teens who broke in and tried to shoot an old man and steal his stuff. They said, he was only there to rob you. This is excessive. You shouldn't have killed my kid. Now, on the flip side, your kid shouldn't have been there to rob him. It should be pretty simple that if you're, just like Danielle Smith says, a low-life scumbag and you're breaking into somebody's house, you should understand the risk that you're dealing with. Is that you can get into a firefight like you're in Fallujah and you might die. And if you do die, that person's not going to prison. They were doing the right thing. This is the same in Florida. This is the same in a lot of different states. And this is soon to be the way of Alberta. Very, very happy to hear this. I'm super excited to hear that. I'll play the rest of I think this is just a lot more people celebrating for the end of the speech here, but this is the rest of it.
It really is. We want our great men and women in law enforcement and our justice system to spend their precious time and effort going after criminals, not farmers, not ranchers or sport shooters, nor Albertans defending their families and their homes. Imagine that, right?
That's beautiful. That is unbelievably, so eloquently said. Like, we shouldn't be clogging up the court system with people that have been clearly defending their homes. That's exactly what was going on there. That's exactly the way that it should be. In a sane society, if somebody breaks in and causes harm to you and your family, not only just to kill you, this is what people seem to understand, is that in Canada, or a lot of places in Canada, except for Alberta and places like New York and California in the States, is that you have to have a provable threat to your life. That not just that they were armed, not that they broke into your house, not that they might have even just like had a little tussle with you. You had to prove that they were going to kill you in order to strike back at them. And that's ridiculous because, like I said, it doesn't just affect that moment where if you hide in your closet and let them take what you want and call the police and they get away and then it's never resolved, and like just like what happened to my mom, they were never caught. It's just they were out there for the rest of time. We have no idea. They were probably arrested for some other scumbag thing, but they were just out there, and we don't know if they were coming back. We have no idea. That we got security systems and cameras and reinforced the doors, but that might not stop them from coming in again. They can break a window and hop right in, and there's nothing that we can do to stop them, because if we stop them, then we're in trouble. We go to jail. And then a single mother with a kid who's trying to support she's trying to support them goes to jail or has to fight a lengthy legal battle that she can't afford already, and we lose the house, or she's just fearful for the rest of her life to live alone. And that's not fair. She lives alone right now, and in all honesty, I think I should change that. I think I might I think the best solution sometimes is to live with your parents for the rest of your life. Not necessarily like some loser living in your mom's basement. I think what you should do is you should, like right now, I live on my own. Sorry, Gizmo's done with my rant. I live on my own with my girlfriend and my dog, who probably needs to go out and take a shit right now. And I think it makes no sense for my mother, who's getting up in years, to live alone where she has no way of defending herself or eventually taking care of herself. And then us living on our own. Sometimes those Southeast Asian cultures, they have the right approach where a multi-generational home is the way to be. I think what you should combine I might take my mom and move her out to Alberta and say, do you remember when that happened to us and how terrifying that was? What if we had a way of defending ourselves? What if we combine our mortgages and we actually pay it off before either of us die? That seems like the right approach. So I'm very happy with that. Now, if we could just get some heated streets, we might be able to fix this entire country. So vote for me. I'm here to take over Canada. I will be the greatest govtator that you've ever seen. So thank you, everybody. Sorry that this is shorter. I have a lot of work to do. I have to stay up for the rest of the night doing more work. Doing like 15-hour days lately. So just because I need to pay off the CRA so they can send money to blow up brown people in the Middle East. That's the main cause. That's the thing that I'm working for. When I have a little picture on my desk of exactly what I'm working for every day, it's just bombs dropping in the Middle East. So I don't care who's doing it. I just need to get the money there to get it done. So thank you. I appreciate all of my Politiots, every single one of you, all the 60 some odd of you that have subscribed already to YouTube. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, understand some of it may get cut out, and they will be on podcastergay.com. If you want to go support us there, you can sign up. It's a couple dollars a month. We have an entire network where we're live multiple times a week. So thank you. I'm going to go let my dog shit and hopefully not get frozen solid outside or maybe shot to death in the street before some of these laws are passed. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. I will see you next week. Okay, bye. Bye. See ya. Okay, bye. 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 See ya.